As the first light of dawn caressed the rolling hills, our quaint village stirred to life. Golden beams danced upon cobblestone streets, and the gentle murmur of the morning whispered promises of a day filled with wonder and hope. In a small cottage at the village's heart, young Cindy burst forth like a ray of sunshine. Barefoot and carefree, she darted through a garden of blooming wildflowers, her laughter ringing out as if it were nature's own melody. Every day, Cindy's world sparkled a little brighter in the warm embrace of her mother. With eyes soft as starlight and hands that soothed all sorrows, her mother whispered gentle secrets that filled their home with boundless love. In a secret garden where petals glistened with morning dew and butterflies twirled in the light, Cindy and her mother shared moments of pure magic. Every flower seemed to echo their laughter, and every rustle of leaves held a cherished secret. One day, the sound of distant hooves heralded the return of Cindy's father. With a twinkle in his eye, he spoke of far-off realms and exotic treasures, each tale as enchanting as the mysterious maps and trinkets he carried from his journeys. Inside their humble abode, every corner was touched by wonder. Cindy marveled at her father's curious gifts, while her mother's gentle smile provided a comforting backdrop to these stories of adventure, a reminder that love, indeed, was the greatest treasure. In the lively village square, the air was thick with joy. Market stalls overflowed with colors, and the sound of merry chatter filled the streets. Amidst it all, Cindy and her mother strolled hand in hand, their hearts intertwined with the spirit of the community. As twilight descended, Cindy's father prepared for another journey. In the soft glow of dusk, bittersweet farewells were exchanged, a silent promise that one day he would return with even more wonders to share. In the safety of their garden, Cindy learned lessons of nature and kindness. With every seed sown and every blossom nurtured, she discovered that growth came in many forms, both in the earth and within the heart. But as seasons change, so too does fate weave its complex tapestry. A quiet shadow fell over the home when Cindy's mother grew ill, a subtle, heart-wrenching decline that dimmed the once radiant light of their world. In tender close-ups, we see the fading smile of a mother whose strength was waning, and the tearful eyes of a little girl clinging to the remnants of her once unshakable joy. The beauty of their bond was now veiled in sorrow. As twilight deepened into an aching dusk, Cindy's mother slipped quietly away. In that gentle farewell, a lullaby of love and loss echoed through the silent corridors of their home, a memory forever etched in Cindy's tender heart. The house that once sang with laughter now lay draped in shadows. Each room held the silent testimony of a love lost too soon, and every cherished keepsake became a bittersweet reminder of the warmth that had once filled these walls. As days turned into months, the garden became both sanctuary and solitude. Amidst the vibrant blossoms, Cindy's laughter was now often tinged with quiet longing, echoing the emptiness left behind by her mother's departure. Yet even in the depths of her solitude, kindness found its way. A gentle neighbor with a heart as warm as summer sun offered solace in small acts of compassion, reminding Cindy that love, however faint, could still be found in unexpected places. One day, a letter arrived, inked with the familiar hand of her traveling father. As Cindy read his words, each sentence glowed with the promise of love and the hope that distance was but a temporary shadow on their lives. In a mesmerizing time lapse, the seasons marched on. the tender buds of spring gave way to the vibrant heat of summer, then yielded to the crisp fall and the quiet white of winter, each cycle mirroring Cindy's own inner transformation. Alone in her garden, Cindy discovered that even in loss, there was beauty. Each resilient bloom became a symbol of her mother's everlasting love, a reminder that life's quiet strength could bloom even in the face of despair. On an ordinary afternoon, an unexpected sound shattered the silence, a doorbell echoing like a herald of fate. Cindy's heart skipped a beat as she approached the door, her eyes reflecting a mix of hope and quiet apprehension. There he stood. Cindy's father returned at last. His eyes, filled with both joy and the weight of regret, met hers as he stepped through the doorway. The reunion was bittersweet, a poignant reminder of what time and distance can do. From the carriage emerged a figure of regal poise, a woman whose every gesture hinted at both mystery and authority. This was to be the new chapter in Cindy's life, a chapter that promised both change and challenge. Hidden behind a half-open door, Cindy watched as the elegant stranger entered her world. Her heart fluttered with uncertain emotions, a blend of cautious hope and the dawning realization that nothing would ever be the same again. In the grandeur of the family home, the new woman claimed her space with an air of unyielding authority. Her cool demeanor and measured gestures transformed the once warm household into a realm of strict rules and quiet dread. At a formal dinner, the air was thick with unspoken tension. As the stepmother's icy glances met Cindy's quiet sorrow, the old bonds of love seemed to fracture, leaving the young girl adrift in a sea of unfamiliar expectations. Shortly thereafter, two new faces appeared, Drizella and Anastasia, the stepmother's daughters. Their laughter, as dazzling as it was disdainful, cut through the silence, marking the beginning of a rivalry that would test Cindy's gentle spirit. In the blink of an eye, the home transformed. Where love had once reigned, a strict new order took hold. With each curt command and pointed glance, Cindy's role was diminished until she was little more than a shadow in her own life. Day after day, Cindy toiled in the background, washing, cleaning, and tending to endless chores. Yet even as her spirit was burdened by duty, a quiet inner beauty shone through, like a solitary flower blooming in a forgotten corner. In moments of stillness, memories of happier times danced before her eyes. Faded photographs and soft recollections of her mother's laughter mingled with the present, creating a tapestry of both joy and sorrow that defined her every breath. At twilight, when the world softened into gentle hues, Cindy would escape to her secret garden. Amidst the familiar blossoms, she found a sanctuary where each petal and leaf whispered stories of a love that could never be forgotten. In a quiet yet profound moment, Cindy defied the darkness, risking the wrath of those who oppressed her. She tenderly cared for an injured bird, a small act of kindness that shone as a beacon of hope against a tide of cruelty. Under the veil of night, when the village slumbered and dreams took flight, Cindy confided her deepest hopes to the stars. The night sky, vast and endless, listened to every whispered wish, cradling them with quiet understanding. One fateful day, while exploring a forgotten wing of the old house, Cindy uncovered a hidden room. There, amongst dusty relics and faded trinkets, lay the tangible memories of a past filled with untold secrets and silent wisdom. Her trembling fingers brushed over an old diary, its pages alive with her mother's tender handwriting. In that quiet moment, Each word bridged the gap between memory and hope, offering lessons that would guide her through the darkest hours. In a shadowed corner of the mansion, hushed voices conspired. The stepmother and her daughters exchanged calculating glances and whispered plots, each secret word weaving a web of control that threatened to entrap Cindy further in despair. As heavy rains began to patter against the windows, Cindy felt the burden of new expectations. Each droplet echoed her silent struggle, a poignant reminder that even in the fiercest storm, one's inner light must endure. Amid the relentless demands and biting cruelty, Cindy discovered moments of rebellion. A gentle smile exchanged with a kind villager, a secret act of nurturing for a wounded creature. Each small defiance lit a spark of hope in her resilient heart. Beyond the walls of the troubled home, the village bore witness to Cindy's unyielding spirit. Quiet nods and compassionate whispers from neighbors recalled a time when her laughter was as natural as the rustle of autumn leaves, a promise that the world still cherished her. By the flicker of a solitary candle, Cindy poured her heart onto paper. Each carefully chosen word spoke of yearning, sorrow, and a fierce determination, a silent vow that someday her destiny would be reclaimed. Nature itself seemed to conspire with Cindy's hopes. As a gentle breeze carried the soft murmur of leaves and whispered secrets, it became clear that the world beyond was listening, ready to herald the dawn of change. In a quiet corridor before a cracked mirror, Cindy saw herself, fragile yet luminous. In that reflective instant, she recognized an inner strength that had long been buried beneath sorrow, igniting a spark of self-belief that could not be dimmed. While the mansion grew colder with each passing day, the pulse of the village beat with life and warmth. Amid festive markets, jovial chatter, and sunlit gatherings, the contrast to her oppressive home life only deepened Cindy's longing for freedom and renewal. In the garden, just as the twilight deepened, a mysterious glimmer danced among the blossoms. It was as if the universe itself had reached out, hinting at a magic that might one day restore the light in Cindy's life. Under a silvery moon, Cindy wandered along quiet village paths. Each step carried memories of lost innocence and the stirring hope of a future where her true self could finally take flight, unfettered by sorrow or constraint. In a sequence of quiet triumphs, a broken object lovingly mended, a kindness offered without expectation, Cindy's inner strength was revealed in subtle, powerful moments. Each act, though small, affirmed her capacity to overcome the weight of her circumstances. Within the grand dining hall, the stepmother's voice cut through the tension like a cold wind. A final, harsh decree was laid down, one that tightened her iron grip over the household and set the stage for the inevitable clash between cruelty and quiet courage. Amid the oppressive silence, an unexpected friend emerged, a kind-hearted elder from the village whose gentle words and knowing eyes offered Cindy a lifeline. In that simple act of compassion, the first seeds of rebellion and hope were sown. Gathering small tokens of memory, a withered petal pressed in a secret book, a cherished letter hidden away, Cindy began to piece together the fragments of her true identity. Each keepsake was a quiet declaration that she would not let her spirit be confined. As dawn broke once more over the village, the early light seemed to gently lift the heavy veil of despair. In that delicate transition from night to day, a promise stirred, a promise that every ending heralds a new beginning. With a determined yet quiet resolve, Cindy gathered the few treasured remnants of her past. Each object, each memory, became a stepping stone, a silent vow to reclaim her destiny and rise above the shadows of her old life. In the courtyard, tension crackled in the cool air as the stepmother and her daughters schemed their next move. Though outwardly subdued, Cindy's eyes burned with a quiet defiance, a herald of the coming confrontation that would reshape her fate. Returning once more to the hidden room of memories, Cindy pored over her mother's diary. With each heartfelt word, she rediscovered not only the wisdom of a life once lived, but also the unyielding strength that lay dormant within her own soul. As nature burst forth in unexpected beauty, a sudden bloom, a beam of sunlight breaking through stormy clouds, Cindy felt destiny unfurling before her. It was a quiet, yet undeniable declaration that her life was poised on the brink of transformation. One final evening in the garden, as the sky softened into twilight, Cindy bade a heartfelt farewell to the memories of her childhood. In that gentle goodbye, sorrow mingled with acceptance, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow was tenderly embraced. Even as Cindy nurtured her secret hopes, the stepmother's control tightened like a noose. The stark contrasts of warm memory and cold authority played out in every corner of the house, each moment heightening the tension of the inevitable change. Finally, in a breathtaking wide-angle vista, Cindy stepped out from the shadows of her past. With the sun rising on a hopeful horizon, her silhouette moved resolutely forward, each step echoing the triumph of a spirit reborn, ready to claim a destiny of light, love, and endless possibility. As the clock neared the fateful hour, a burst of shimmering light filled the room. The fairy godmother emerged like a living dream, transforming Cindy's humble rags into a gown spun from starlight and hope, a vision of beauty reborn in magic. With magic as her guide, Cindy was whisked away in a dazzling carriage. Through enchanted woods and paths lit by twilight's glow, each moment whispered of a destiny beyond her wildest dreams, an odyssey toward a realm where hope reigned supreme. In the heart of the palace, the royal ball burst forth in a symphony of elegance and grace. As Cindy stepped into the luminous hall, every eye was drawn to her, a living testament to magic, beauty, and the promise of a new beginning. Across the shimmering ballroom, the prince's gaze met Cindy's. A silent promise passed between them. In that moment, destiny's threads wove their lives together, igniting a spark of love that would soon transform both their worlds. As the music swelled, they danced, a graceful duet where every step became a verse of an unspoken love story. In that enchanting embrace, time seemed to yield to the rhythm of destiny, and the future glimmered with endless possibility. But amid the revelry, a solemn reminder stirred, a soft, insistent chime from the great clock. Midnight was near, and with it, the fragile spell of enchantment would dissolve like dew under the morning sun. In a heartbeat, as the magic began to fade, Cindy fled the ball with the urgency of a dream on the verge of vanishing. In her haste, she left behind a delicate glass slipper, a silent symbol of hope and the promise of fate. Clutching the enchanted slipper, the prince embarked on a quest across the kingdom, a journey fueled by hope and the promise of discovering the mysterious maiden whose grace had captured his heart. Through winding roads and sunlit meadows, the prince's journey spanned the breadth of the kingdom. Every village, every whispered legend led him closer to the truth of a love destined to overcome all obstacles. At last, fate guided him to a humble doorway where the slipper met its true match, Amid nervous glances and whispered hopes, those who once reveled in vanity found their pretensions unmasked. The slipper fit no one but the one it was meant for. In that charged moment, when destiny hung in the balance, Cindy stepped forward. As the delicate slipper embraced her foot perfectly, the kingdom witnessed the triumph of truth and the birth of a new era, one woven from the threads of love and perseverance. With hearts united and eyes shining with promise, the prince proclaimed Cindy as his princess. The court erupted in joyful celebration, heralding not just a royal union, but the dawn of an era defined by compassion, resilience, and enduring love. As the days unfurled in the regal halls of her new home, Cindy embraced the weight and wonder of her destiny. With every act of kindness and every mindful gesture, she transformed palace life into a tapestry of hope and gentle strength. Never forgetting the love that had nurtured her soul, Cindy created a sanctuary in honor of her mother. Each newly planted flower became a living tribute, a bridge between cherished memories and the blossoming promise of tomorrow. As the first light of dawn caressed the kingdom, Cindy gazed out over a realm reborn. This new day was not merely the start of another chapter, but the birth of an era where love, kindness, and the quiet strength of the human spirit illuminated every path forward.